The recording's about to start. Okay, the recording started. Cool. The first thing everybody gets to see is me stretching. How are you, Lisa?
I'm good. How are you, Clark?
Doing good. Just getting ready for this meeting. And my wife's calling. Hello?
He's got so many things going.
Can you come in any chance? I am starting Sparkle Clark right now. And I'm being recorded.
You never know.
If the answer's no, the answer's no. I just need to know.
I've been robbed before.
Okay.
Have you like your purse or your wallet? No, I was
Love you.
working for me. I think like in my early 20s. Back then, I was so stupid. Okay, in Waxahachie on 77 South. So it's like July, like this, okay? And back then we had payphones, okay? How old am I? I'm just telling my age here. Yeah. So the guy comes up, we had like just a little window, you didn't come inside unless you wanted to use the payphone. He said, can I use the payphone? I'm sure. It dawned on me, he had a coat on. Who wears a coat in July? After one, he said, yeah, like surroundings and things like that matter. This is a robbery. I'm like, I'm thinking of TV, you know what I mean? Yeah. And I'm like, what do you mean it's a robbery? And back then I was old, you know. Yeah. And he's like, yeah, I've got a gun. You want to see it? I'm like, no, I don't want to see it. If you say you got a gun, I believe you. Yeah. I said, why are you robbing me? Back then I'm like, everybody should be working. We got to go get you a job, right? Yeah. He says, so why are you robbing me? I said, because I need to buy drugs. What? You're robbing me to buy drugs? You not even money. I'm going off on my mouthpiece, 90 miles an hour, because that's how I react. Yeah. Anyway, so he ended up robbing me like $200.
At your cash register?
Yeah.
Not you personally?
And I had just dropped the deposit from the state enforcement. And just dropped like $13,000.
Oh, wow. So you didn't get that?
No.
Girl, I bet that made you change how you operate.
But you know, and so what happened, instead of calling the police first off, I called my boss and said, hey, I just got robbed.
Yeah.
He's like, did you call the police? No, I didn't think about it.
From her
I called you, and everybody thinks, you know, I respond this way or that way. You don't know. Like, shoved on. It's like, you don't know how you're going to react. And some people was like, you know, cringe up. Others would be like me, talk, you know, and try talking out and robbing me. Like,
Yeah.
That's basically what you did.
Yeah, pretty much. All right. All ready to get started? Thank you, Lisa, for bringing some food. For those at home recording, Sparkle Clark. You're going to have to give me grace as I eat my tacos. All right. What questions do we have today? Contracts, tech, life advice. I'm an uncertified counselor.
On Rate My Agent, can you, after someone has reviewed you, can you add a photo to it? And then also, how do you get Rate My Agent to Google?
Rate my professor. That's funny. So, let me get into Rate My Agent. That's the one thing I didn't have pulled up.
Sorry.
No, you're good. So, to get it with Google, your initial setup had to be turned on under Google review, under there.
So go to the Google.
Is everything turned on?
So the checkboxes, the two checkboxes on the bottom, and then the page you want selected. Yeah.
Okay. So it looks like if in the top right-hand corner it has the post schedule of when it should post. So mine posts weekly on Wednesdays.
So does it go as just a Google review?
So it will post under, well, so the review, you see at the very top where it says get Google review? You will have to, there's, I don't know if you remember in the beginning during the setup, when they do the initial review, as soon as they finish, it's then going to send them another link to do the Google review.
Oh, is that why it says pending?
Yeah.
So it's waiting for the reviewer to approve it on Google as well?
Yep.
Okay. So if we see that sitting there for like a couple of days or something, we can just send them a little reminder, like, hey, would you mind?
Yeah, I'll send like a follow-up
Okay,
text or email.
okay.
Um,
Now, can you add a photo?
that's where I was
to your review?
about to go, is on the photo part, I don't think so.
It's too late. They needed to do it in the initial. Okay.
The only thing that makes me not too sure is it does link, like see if here's got photos of the houses, it does link that
Oh, that.
to that
Okay.
person. So it may do it. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Um, okay. Let me see what mine looks like.
Mine's really like that.
Yeah, crazy, I know, especially on these hot, yeah, today. Extra hot.
Listing. So it did just sold post, but on the review, it's been a minute since I posted a review. So let me. I'm pretty sure it does post a photo of the house because it links the house to that client.
So on social media, it'll look good.
Mm-hmm.
It was just on Rate My Agent. I feel like it didn't have it right there.
What do you mean on Rate My Agent? It didn't have it there.
I didn't see a photo with the review from the screen that I was looking at. So when I go to reviews, completed.
So do you still have Jeremy or
Justin.
Justin? I would email him and ask because that's kind of a back end.
It is there.
Okay.
Okay.
Good morning. Oh, somebody's sitting here?
No, I don't know whose that is. I think that's actually Brandon.
There from yesterday.
I'm pretty positive this is Brandon's. It is Brandon's handwriting.
And then have I gotten, I got an email that said my curated video was disconnected.
Oh, you just go back in and reconnect.
And is it our .net or our .com?
You're talking through Rate My Agent.
But it had a different login for the curated social.
Right, it's the same login.
So for Rate My Agent, do we use the .net or the .com?
I think it's the .net.
Okay.
I'm switching to the admin view. Let me see. Yeah, that's the .net.
It was like
It's
publishing failed. So it's prompting me to like log back in, but I used what I thought was my Rate My Agent login and password.
I would log into Rate My Agent because it syndicates and auto logs you into the Studio Suite. But it is your .net email, and some of y'all have still not claimed your profiles.
I'm pretty sure I have it.
So.
I'm sorry, I was getting
Rate My Agent?
Yeah.
Well, so if you haven't set up your Rate My Agent, I just sent a prompt. So check your email. Yeah, yours was unclaimed, so you should have just got a prompt.
So, and the social studio, like, it let me right in, it acts like I'm.
Yeah, so you don't, it's the same way with Remax. When you try to log into Social Studio on its own, I don't know why the login credentials won't work. But if you go to Rate My Agent first and then Social Studio, it syndicates you through. I have no idea why.
So you think it's good to go now?
As long as it's all turned on in there.
It's on, it's never turned off.
Well, sometimes it kicks you out and it will turn itself off. Like the on-off button would be.
So maybe go back through all the prompts to set it back up.
Yeah, like make sure everything's connected, like
Okay.
your Google. Because Social Studios is separate from Rate My Agent or whatever it's called. I'm calling it Social Studios. Is that social media?
Social studio.
Social Studio. It's part of Rate My Agent, but it's separate. So like if your Google and Facebook and everything is connected to Rate My Agent, but it's not turned on inside of Social Studio.
It says connected, enabled.
Okay, then you should be good to go. Now there's a little deal called Autopilot somewhere up there.
I see it.
Make sure that that's all turned on.
Put check mark and says enabled.
Yeah, I would click the prompt and see if it's, posting when you want it to post.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I might just need to review it from here versus the email.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. What other questions we have today? Wow.
I have a bunch.
Well, that's what we're
They're
hitting.
probably one-on-one. No, one thing, I have
This training is for everything. It's tech, it's real estate deal questions. It's not geared towards one thing.
okay, so my question, I have a contract that I've been trying to, a buyer's rep agreement to send out. It went to there's two people. It went to the woman, but it didn't go to the man to sign. I tried 2 email addresses and he's still not getting it.
And it's not going to a spam.
I think he would know that, because he's the CIO. He's been checking everything. Nothing's going anywhere.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I need to contact our tech side to see what's going on.
No, you can, like in the bottom, there's a back office. Let me go in the back office. There is like a need help tab right here in the bottom right. And you can do online chat and tell them the file, tell them the guy's name and the email, and let them take a look at see what's going on with it.
Cool. I'll do that. And then the second question I have, I talked with you yesterday. I'm trying to remember where we were. So I talked to you yesterday about the appraisal. Did it come back? Do I need to wait?
No, I think Hillary's just shutting the door.
It needs to come, the appraisal didn't come back at what they were selling the house at. It came back $3,000 lower. So, my client wanted to go over to the house to do measurements.
Mm-hmm.
And when we went over there yesterday to do measurements, we discovered from the sellers, who's a realtor, that they're taking their cameras, outside attached cameras, which we didn't. That was never in the exclusion.
But did they supply a fixture lease at the beginning?
No.
Okay,
And then.
because they may not own them. Because if they don't own it, like if it's through a security company, then it's the security company's property. So.
And then secondly, they have a gate that's run by a solar panel,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a fly gate.
Yeah.
Well, they never put the motor in, so the gate doesn't function.
Yeah.
And they didn't put that on seller's disclosure or anything. We asked yesterday, the gate's working fine. They're like, oh, it's never worked, because we never had the guy come back out and put the motor in.
Mm-hmm.
And
So y'all didn't notice that when you walked the property or got it inspected?
No.
I mean, that's kind of on you.
Because the gate was always open because people were coming in and out, because she had the lock on the back gate, the back door. So we had to go through the gate, and so we assumed that she left the gate open for us.
Well, I mean, it should have, the non-functioning gate should have the problem is with the argument of the seller's disclosure on whether the gate's functioning or not, is if it never had a motor to begin with and the gate opens and closes, the gate is functioning.
So, but wouldn't that go in the seller's disclosure that the motor was never installed?
No, because it wasn't ever installed. So you can't disclose something that was never on the property.
Interesting.
So, well, I mean, it was never on the property. It's not broken.
But it was, the assumption was it did work, because there's a solar panel out there for it to function.
Was it for that or for a light?
For the gate.
Yeah.
He
But
told us that was for the gate, but they, the guy was supposed to come out and put the motor in, he never made it out.
yeah. I mean, I just think that one, if it was never installed on the property, you and the client don't really have a reason to be upset because it was never on the property to begin with. If it was on the property and they took it off or it was broken, and it wasn't disclosed, then you have a reason to be upset. But you can't be upset for there not being a gate opener when there never was one.
Is this the reason that we can get out of the contract?
No.
But we can use the appraisal.
Yeah.
It was 3,000 measure.
Yeah. But if your financing deadline and your addendum for your option to back out of the appraisal ends today, then you're going to have to do it today.
I think it's 21 days, which would put it at the 31st of July.
Okay. So yeah, as long as you terminate before then, do the appraisal, you can. But if you wait till after your third-party financing or your appraisal addendum, because I don't know what type of loan it is, dates passed, then you can't get out of the contract for that. So, but I mean, I get
But is
the,
your appraisal within 21 days or just your buyer credit agreement?
See, that's where I don't, where would that be located in the finance part?
well, the third-party financing addendum and the appraisal addendum are two separate forms.
We need to talk later.
Okay. So, but they are two separate forms.
Right.
So you would have to check the dates in both forms. And there's an argument there, on this. There's some that are arguing that even if it's a conventional loan, the third-party financing addendum will cover the appraisal. That is not our brokerage's understanding of that. There are some brokers that have tried to use that. There's basically a way you can petition TREC on reoccurring issues for TREC to come down and make a ruling on it. So I do know it has been moved up to TREC to review the wording in the third party. But as of today, our brokerage's stance is if you have anything that is not a VA or FHA loan, you must attach the appraisal addendum. And if you don't, that you are foregoing your right to back out due to the appraisal. Now, on the third party finance, and actually, let me just bring this up so we can all talk about this. And I'll show you exactly what we're talking about.
Can you repeat what you said? Anything not the air, FHA from a broker currently is in place?
Must have the appraisal waiver addendum.
The whole reason Trent
Yeah.
put in the appraisal addendum was for that purpose, because there's so much gray area in third-party financing addendum in the paragraph. They said if you have a conventional buyer, you have to use the appraisal addendum in order to back out for appraisal. There's three different options. You can waive an appraisal, you can do a partial, or you do full.
Yeah.
And so you're supposed to use that form. FHA already has it worded in the third party.
Where is this?
I had to go crazy because before that addendum came out, my people backed up because it was going crazy. We didn't have that addendum yet.
Oh, here we go.
And we did,
So this is, I'll get to where it's the full screen. This is what your third-party financing addendum looks like. This is what the appraisal addendum looks like. So why I'm telling you this, and this is where me and the two brokers I've had this fight with this year this is where I keep deferring to, right here. The use of the third-party financing addendum is attached to the contract. This transaction does not involve FHA or VA guaranteed financing. So it says only use if. So if it is not VA or FHA, you have to attach this form. I guess you don't have to, but if you don't, you're in not a good situation. So the argument, and it's not an argument, I actually probably won't get into the argument and confuse you. I'll tell you why our brokerage has this stance. Under approval of financing, under this section, when it talks about appraisal or talks about value, it is talking about lender required repairs, not value of the real estate. So property approval right here, if the buyer's lender determines that the property does not satisfy lender's underwriting requirements for the loan, including but not limited to appraisal, that is referring to any repairs that the appraiser is requesting, not the value in which the appraisal came in at. And that's where a lot of people get confused and try to, like I literally have agents tell me, seasoned agents tell me all the time, oh, I didn't attach the addendum because it's not needed because it's covered under third party. No, it's not. It's the reason why this form down here exists. So now, how do you use these two forms together? Well, if it's FHA or VA, the appraisal amount is covered right here under section 4. You would put the sales price right there, and basically you're saying if my property does not appraise for $200,000, then I can back out of the contract. If you have a conventional or another type of loan that's not VA or FHA, you would not fill in that blank. You would come up here and fill out your normal conventional or USDA, whatever it is. And then down here, you would attach this form, the appraisal waiver addendum. And let me actually go back up here real quick. On the number of days for property approval, again, that's basically the same amount of days you would want for the appraisal, because whether or not the property is going to be approved due to lender's underwriting requirements is going to depend on what's in that appraiser's report. So if you typically do 21 to 25 days for an appraisal, you'll want that to be 21 to 25 days. If you, whatever day amount you put in there, when you come down to this one, you would almost want to either mirror it or have it be a couple more days. Like I typically do like 21 and 22, or 21, 21, like what it's 20.
Always do 30.
Yeah, well, the more you can get, the better. But when you think you can actually receive the appraisal back from the lender, and so that's when you want that's what you want the days to be. A lot of people will try to do like 14 in a multiple offer situation. Like you need to make dang sure that you get that done in 14 days. So
This one's 18. So we have enough time.
yes. Assuming that it's
18 days from the execution.
assuming the appraisal's already been done.
Yeah, appraisal was done last week.
Yeah, but like what day are we in your timeline?
Are you talking about when
For the
this
date?
was executed?
Yeah, from the day you executed, what is it today?
Well, we executed on the 10th of July.
Okay.
17, 18, 19, 20. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're in our 14th day.
Yeah. So you, by whatever 4 days is from today, whatever the 18th is, you have to give notice that you're going to terminate or not.
Okay.
So,
Or we can,
or negotiate
Resubmit.
price or whatever y'all end up working out. You either renegotiate things or you back out of the contract.
okay.
Um,
Okay.
So, sorry, someone text me 911. Let me make sure no one's dying. I had to tell somebody this the other day that not every real estate thing is a 911 emergency.
It is call 911, not me.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Let's see that. Okay, sorry. Sent that to him. So on the appraisal waiver, you have 3 boxes. One is a full waiver. I don't care what the house appraises for, I'm buying it. 2 is a partial waiver, and 2 is worded really confusing. So for simple math, let's just say the house is listed for 500, and I write an offer for 515, and then I put the opinion of value in box 2 has to be 505 or more, and the appraisal comes in at 500. I could technically back out of the contract, but if it came in at 510 and my price was for 515, then I would have to move forward and I would have to pay the difference because the bank's not going to pay the difference of whatever that is. So does that make sense? I can try to re-explain it if.
Or you can back out. Okay.
So you can back out,
Okay.
but here's the thing: if the contract's for 515, and I put 505 in there, and it appraises for 500, since it's under 505, I can back out. But if it comes in at 506, and you're like, man, I don't want to have to bring up the extra, whatever that is, $8,000. You don't get a chance. You have or option. You have to move forward, and you have to pay the difference. It's a partial waiver. I would say,
I just did one.
yeah, that's how I bought my house. And funny enough, this form was brand new, and that's how I actually got my house for way under list. Is I wrote the contract for $20,000 over, but I put $25,000 less than sales price in that blank, and their agent didn't catch it. And when it missed appraisal, I got to back out, and they were like, "Well, we already packed up and moved, so we'll just take what it appraised for." So it could be, I would just say, if you're not 100% sure, have me or Brandon read over it, because it is worded tricky to make sure you're accomplishing what you're trying to actually accomplish. On 3, this is saying it must appraise for what the sales price is, period. End of discussion. So you would put 20 days, 22 days, whatever, 30 days, whenever you think you can get the appraisal back by. But the amount in that box would be your sales price, whatever it is on the first page of your contract.
So that comes into play because you were aggressive with your offer and you wrote over sales price, but it didn't appraise for that amount over the sales price, so you still get a chance to get out.
Yeah.
Or you could pay it, or
Like, not people paid it. I mean, luckily it appraised for what we offered, but like we offered 10,000 over list, so that number we put in there was, 10,000 over list price. Because we were competing against other offers.
Okay.
And then it ended up, crazy, so it ended up having to pay more, but they were willing to pay 10,000 over. Whatever it appraised for, but we had to bring it back out.
Yeah.
I mean, if it didn't appraise the list, we had to get out of it.
Yeah.
So it sounds like it's a little bit of a risk that can turn out to be a good reward.
You just want to make sure that essentially whatever the difference between that number and your sales price is, your client actually has those funds in case it doesn't go the way you want it to go. So just, be careful there. What other questions?
So I have a client that is trying to gain, or I guess, put their name on it. Right here, there's an easement that comes right here. So this has been claimed, but
The easement has not been claimed?
yeah, so we're trying to find the best way to be able to, that way, God forbid, something happens in there and not able to.
So is the easement actually filed of record somewhere?
No.
Okay, so there's not an easement.
Yeah.
They might be using it, but it's
Yeah,
not.
they're using it as an.
Yeah, they're using it, but there's not, it doesn't exist.
Yeah, because it goes on a couple different plots.
So to get it filed, where they have the right to use it, because just because they're using it doesn't mean they have the right to use it.
Yeah.
Legally. Right now, technically, they don't have the right to use it, even though everybody's kind of just letting it happen.
Yeah.
To get it done is you'd have to have a surveyor survey out the easement because it needs a legal description.
Okay.
And then all the properties that touch it or use it will have to sign off on the easement, like a use and maintenance agreement, a right to usage, anybody who's going to use it to access property and whoever's property it's on has to sign off on this easement. If it's on their property, they're guarantors. If they're using it to get to their property, they're grantees because they're saying, me the grantor, I'm giving you permission to cross my property. But I'm probably oversimplifying it because there's a little more to it, because then the next thing you're going to get into is who maintains it. Can you improve it? Can you run utilities down it? Like all these things have to be addressed in the easement agreement. So, but I mean, the title company attorney can help if you're at a good title company.
Did they pull title yet?
No. No, man.
There might be an easement, you just don't know about it.
Yeah, there may be.
Yeah.
God forbid it's not a prescriptive
I
easement.
know.
I'm learning that. And just by the way, what a prescriptive easement is, and it's how Hill County for sure does it. Most of your rural counties do it this way. But basically, on these county roads back in the 40s, what they would do is they would just go build. They'd go out there and Farmer Brown's like, hey, I know you guys are building a road. You can put it over there in my far west pasture. And the county went and built it. Nobody surveyed. It just kind of all handshaked and moved on. So what they call them is prescriptive easements because it's a easement that you have the right to use, even though it's not called out anywhere on the property. It's just wherever the road is the easement. 10 foot of each side of wherever the road is. They do it a lot too on like gas lines and oil lines. They're like, we have a prescriptive easement wherever the line is, the easement ends 10 foot outside of the line. And so they don't have it marked on a map. It's just wherever it is where it is. And so it causes some problems.
So do you, like when you have the property surveyed, do you have the surveyor put where the prescriptive easement would be without?
They will mark it on their survey, but that there is a prescriptive easement, but a lot of times they don't mark it because it depends if like a county road, they'll mark it and say prescriptive easement, but they won't show that it's a dedicated easement, which banks don't love. And then on pipelines, they will rough draw where they think the line is and just say prescriptive easement because there's no way of knowing where the actual line is without doing potholing and finding the line. So
Which costs a lot of money.
costs a lot of money. So,
Interesting.
yeah, be careful on land.
So is it typically you run into this in the rural areas more so than in?
Yeah, I mean, some suburban areas like Midlothian still has a little bit of this problem, like where Lowe's is being built. They had prescriptive gas lines out there that caused problems. Until now, we've hit a point where growth has helped it, but a lot of rural areas will have this problem. Mostly because the counties didn't have the funds to survey out everything. So they just did prescriptive easements everywhere. So, What next? Wait, I'm just pumped we're getting a little away from tech and getting down in the nitty gritty. Y'all never ask me these questions.
Was there something called Red, something you told me to download or get access to for vetting people before they come in?
Forewarn.
Is that what it's called? Yeah. Forewarn.
Forewarn.
How do you get access to that?
I have honestly never used it, but I know Miss Cat uses it all the time. Cat, do you know how do you get to it?
I got it because Arbor gave it to me.
No, but like how do you log into it?
I log in with the information that I set it up with. Arbor sent me a link, and then I opened up the link and it said, so how do you want to log into this? And I said face recognition, and so that's how I do that.
Okay, so you don't get to it from MLS.
No.
No,
That's a
not
separate website.
MLS, that Arbor board sent me
Okay.
the link.
Are you with Arbor?
And you
Yeah.
can call Arbor and talk to Walt Lumen, and he set mine up. for
Yeah.
me. He was really helpful.
I've never used it, but I know Kat and Judy and Brandon and Tracy use it. So I probably should use it, you know.
You're
right. You really want to
It's
do
I don't know.
I just have my gun, so I'm not really worried about it.
I didn't at that time. I started hearing again I was telling when they were finishing up yesterday, I forgot, I was telling Tracy or somebody, I was like, man, a very short summary of the last 10 years of my life sounds kind of crazy. I was investigated by the FBI, the IRS, and almost murdered. So, yeah, it sounds, I should be in a rap song, I feel like.
Yeah.
But, yeah, note to self, don't think your CPA checked everything, check it over. Don't just sign and move on. That will get you an audit. And apparently, be careful who you have conversations with, because that's how I got investigated by the FBI. The guy I was talking to was at January 6th. He was one of the rioters. And like I was here. And he was just telling me that he was in DC when it happened. He was at the Capitol, and somebody overheard and reported us to the FBI, and I had to go through a whole investigation. Like, where were you January 6th? I was like, in my office watching it, thinking, what the hell's going on? I wasn't in DC. But yeah, that was wild to be investigated by the FBI. Especially because it's not how you think. Like, you get a phone call, and they're like, hey, this is Special Agent, da-da-da-da-da, and you're just like, ha, 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 like, okay. And then, like, they're like, no, like, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, oh, crap. And he's like, hey, listen, it was so funny, too, because he's like, hey, we don't want to meet you at your office because we know how that could look bad. And we don't want to meet you at City Hall because we know how that could look bad. And, I know you probably weirded out about people coming to your house for this matter. So do you, like, have an undisclosed location you want to meet? And I'm like, oh, my God, they're going to, like, put me in the back of the car.
Right, you're going undisclosed. You're gonna tell my mom and my wife?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh yeah, it was wild, especially when I had to meet him in person. I was like, oh
And
god.
when they showed up, were they wearing suits?
He was like in like how police officers sometimes wear like the khaki pants and like a polo. He was in that basically. He was like, we have facial recognition. We know you aren't in DC, but we have questions about the guy that was. I was like, oh great.
Wow. Throw me under the bus.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know. I was like, well, this is awesome.
Oh, golly.
So yeah, careful who you have conversations with, even if you didn't commit a crime.
It's exciting.
Yeah.
I've never, I mean.
Yeah. I'm gonna write a book one day, how to avoid the FBI and the IRS and
Getting shot.
and getting shot.
A crazy neighbor.
So, what other questions do we have today? I wonder if anybody's at home watching people. Nope. No one's cool.
What about verbiage with somebody from phones who wants to look at a house?
Mm-hmm.
How do you go about the pre-approval process with them before, like, what do you say? There's so many things you gotta get accomplished before you show
So
buyer's rep.
here's the thing about the pre-approval. You're talking about loan pre-approval. Everybody's different. And I probably should be this way, but I guess how I was trained is holding me down a little bit. But my stance is I will give anybody a free hour of my time. After that, we're getting married. Like we got to figure this out. So if somebody calls and wants to see property, I will show them. I explain the representation
Yes.
and say I'll have a form to sign. It's not a representation agreement. It's a showing agreement. It's a one pager. I just need you to have it signed off. Most people don't care because they want to see the house. I'll send it to them freehand via e-sign because I don't.
Can you tell them, like, basically all I can do is open the door?
Mhm.
Okay.
And that if they want more guidance than that, then we'd have to look at doing actual representation. After I show them the one house is when I'm like, hey, you know, while I'm there, I'm talking about pre-approval. I mean, I think there's something that comes with experience. Like I start asking, what do you do for a living? Have you bought anything? What do you think your credit score is? And like, I could tell real quick, like, oh yeah, this is going to be a problem, or oh, this isn't going to be that bad. Just based off questions and answers.
These people are VA, not VA, and they're self-employed.
Oh yeah, I would hurry up and do it then, because the self-employed is the 2-year tax return. So a lot of times they might be like, I make $250,000 a year and have an 800 credit score, but the second self-employed comes out of their mouth, I'm like, oh, go get pre-approved, because I mean we're all self-employed in here. Taxes are a funny thing.
And I've already started encouraging them, it just seems so like hesitant.
Well, sometimes I'll say like, hey, that house you sent me that you want to look at, like I can't show it without a pre-approval, and just like they don't know.
Say the agents require the sellers.
Yeah, requesting a pre-approval.
For this house to be shown.
I like that.
Yeah, I've used that a lot.
That's really good.
So I've even used it to get out of showing. I'm like, damn, I don't want to show them. Hey, sorry, this other is approved. Which, why I said I probably do it the wrong way. I mean, this is gonna sound bad. I guess in theory, if I had more value or valued my time more, I would probably want somebody fully signed up and approved before I waste time showing them houses. But I know how the real world operates, and that's not.
I know on 100 Days of Grace that everybody has to be vetted before.
Yeah.
So I was just wondering.
Yeah, there's
Stickler on that or kind of?
it depends, like, there are people in this office that won't go show.
Yeah, mine has their own way.
Mine is,
Kind of decide what you-
I don't give a damn about the house. I'm going to go build a relationship, whether we buy that house or not. One, to get them to be their realtor. Two, maybe they got a buddy that's trying to buy. Maybe, like, I can't tell you how many times when I've been at a showing, they're like, oh, my parents are looking at moving here too. Cool, they need a realtor. Like, I always just tell people, it's not always about that person. Like, obviously, you want to take care of that person, but it's like, who do you know?
There's.
Because
You get a vibe on, like, you can try to tell who might be serious and who you're like, just take it hard.
yeah,
So you work at Dollar General and you've been there for how long?
yeah. So, you ask questions, you kind of fill out the situation.
I tried my way and I thought it was good, but they're still just hesitant. So I didn't know if that was kind of normal. Is it not normal?
Well, I think trying to figure out why they're hesitant might help you, because a lot of times they know they can't get the approval, or they're not sure if they are and they're embarrassed, or some people get, I won't say embarrassed, but I can't think of another word, like don't want other people to know what they make,
Yeah,
I
do like what Buffini said. He was like confidential. What did he say? It was basically saying.
Meeting with the lender.
Yeah, I don't have to know all your details. They're just gonna tell me yes
Yeah.
or no.
Yeah, they're the money expert
Yeah.
on the houses.
I tell my clients all the time, like, whatever you and the lender talk about, I don't need to know, but if you want me to better serve you, then sometimes it's helpful to fill me in, because I will say, like, I've taught lenders some things, or I know the way around some rules, and we'll be like, yeah, don't do that, do this. Like, he's gonna tell you to do that, but you need to go do this. But again, that's from experience. Like, working with multiple lenders. Like, for example, I had a lender yesterday tell me that it was my listing that we had to make a repair because the porch wasn't attached to the mobile home. It was a brand new mobile home that the dealer installed. But attaching a porch to a mobile home voids the manufacturer's warranty. So we had to tell them that it was attached by a concrete pier, which they didn't care because they were just like, we need to tell this lender. It's attached by a concrete pier. It's not actually attached, but this lender kept swearing up and down FHA guidelines said that it had to be screwed into the house, and that's not what it says. It says it has to be attached, but attached can be a foundation engineer signing off that it's attached to the property. Like, it doesn't actually have to be physically screwed in there. And so, again, that's just from knowledge over time. Like, not always are the lenders right.
Well, I know they're in love with this house.
Yeah.
I know they're gonna want to make an offer on it, so.
Well, especially if they want to make an offer, just that, I think, even gives you another way out. I mean, one, talking to them about the listing agent's requesting it, or two, we really can't make an offer without that pre-approval. So I think that kind of gets you and if they're still not serious at that point, then, there's got to be something going on.
Like, they're not quick to act, they're slow.
Well, I will say, like, I have a client right now, it is a week to get an answer every time. The other day, hey, we're going to drop the price. Silence. Follow up, silence. Saturday, I was sitting at home, just cooking breakfast. Ding. Okay, sounds good. Like,
Randomly.
yeah. I'm just like, okay.
Thank
So,
you.
some people are just slow.
And if they're never bought before, sometimes they're worried, can I really afford this house? So if you have a conversation with them, when you go talk to the lender, make sure the lender understands what your budget says you want to pay for house taxes and insurance. Because the lender almost inevitably approves for a house that comes with a payment that is more than what the buyer wants to pay. Because they got shoes or school clothes or whatever is in their life that the lender doesn't hold into account. So by you saying that, you are still relaying to the client that you care and you're concerned about their purchase of the house, plus gives you the credibility that you know what you're talking about when they go to talk to the lender and the lender approves them for a $700,000 house and they say, well, that sounds great, but I want my taxes and insurance to only be this. And they say, okay, now you're looking at a $350,000 house.
Yeah, and I do them like math backward. Well, I won't say backwards, but basically, if somebody's like, hey, I don't want my payment to be more than $2,500, or like most of the time, lenders are like, here's the sales, or here's your price, here's the payment. I will just be like, how much do you want your monthly payment to be? And then I can tell them we're pretty close, like, okay, that means you're going to be around this price point. So, I was just checking my math because, so I'd say typically right now, give or take a little bit, payment is typically 1 to 2% of sales price. There's a variable because I don't know if it's in PID and venture, but that gets you pretty dang close. Like if someone tells me they want a $2,500 payment, I know that they're somewhere between $250 and $300. I know that's a $50,000 swing, but $300,000 in the county might have a cheaper payment than a $260,000 house in the city in a PID. So it's kind of, that's why I do it in 50,000 increments. But that at least tells me, like, if the lender approved them up to 400, it's like, hey, listen, we're not even going to send you 400 houses. We're going to send 250 to 300. So I normally check that way.
And this house is that one I was mentioning to you about being in the flood zone. I did call the insurance company and get a quote on it.
Yeah, sometimes flood insurance is cheap and sometimes it's expensive. It really depends on the location. Because I've had them before where some guys tell me like, man, my flood insurance is only $100 a month. And I've had another guy tell me it was like $800 a month, and I don't know what the difference is.
It's regulated by FEMA, which that's gonna be.
Yeah.
But it depends on the zone and the likelihood. Yeah.
It's like AE.
Yeah, I don't do flood, it does flood, but yeah, so like if your zone is less likely, it might be I've seen $70 a month.
This was like 200, and
Yeah.
that was on the high end, so they thought they could bring it down. but
Well, it also depends where the house is built. Like if the house is outside the flood zone, now I know, not perfect at this, little experience. I do know that like if you're within so many feet of this flood zone, or if you can get an engineer to stamp off that it's been raised and structurally outside, like there's ways to get out of flood insurance. It's just
You can
depending.
get an elevation certificate, I had somebody do that.
Yeah. So there is ways to get out of it. It just, there's a lot of factors
just
to it.
ways away from.
Yeah. Yeah, they may be able to have somebody do an elevation and get them out of it. Especially if they're gonna build a house and have to build the pad up, that may help too. Because my parents' property is technically, it abuts a creek, and it has, like, I've seen it flood before where they have railroad ties for their retaining wall where it came 2 ties high. But they built the house 5 foot up, like when they brought in dirt and built the pad 5 foot up, so it took them out of the flood zone. So, well, they're in the flood zone, they're just raised out of the flood zone, so they don't pay flood insurance. So. What else? Man.
So how do you handle, so I just had a lead come in that looked at my listing, but she speaks Spanish.
Mhm.
So how do you typically handle that? Just texting conversation or?
Yeah, I mean, hopefully we're gonna have that fixed pretty soon. We have a Spanish agent coming, but like I've done a ton of deals without
Yeah.
a Spanish agent, and a lot of time I use texting and Google Translate. So
Cause she gets on the phone and we're able to like kind of communicate from the key.
yeah, Google Translate and
You
text.
can't sign forms, but there's some forms in Spanish that they can review, is that right? But they can't sign them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You have to give them to be able to read it in Spanish, and then they also have to sign the English
Version.
version.
Okay.
So like I will attach like the Spanish and then the English. Because
Okay.
you can get in trouble if they have to
Yeah.
sign the English,
yeah.
but
So,
you want to have proof that you gave them the Spanish.
but yeah, but hopefully by mid-August we have that resolved. Even though I've been thinking about signing up for Rosetta Stone myself.
Me too. I texted Andrew. I was like, we need to do like a Duolingo or something. I'd love that.
They're talking about Spanish. So,
Wrong hand, I think penciler.
what's that? Oh, yeah, yeah.
But it's nothing like a real thing, having a real conversation frequently.
Oh,
I think that's the best way.
yeah. Mackenzie picked up Spanish pretty good when she worked at Parkland. Like she wasn't perfect, but she could get basic
Yeah.
conversations. So everybody just go work at Parkland for a year and we'll be good to go.
Start the training.
Yeah, go volunteer at Parkland. What else? Nothing. I answered everybody's questions. So no one's gonna ask a question the rest of the week because it's all been answered.
I'll be honest.
I'm just, I'm just giving you a hard time. All right. Well, cool. We're gonna
You
be-
still have to sit up here for 8.5 minutes.
I know, I was just sitting here going, are we finishing 8 minutes early, or does someone want me to go over a quick tech tip or what?
Yeah.
Okay. Trying to think what tech I've used recently that I like. Who uses chat, by the way?
I do.
Yes.
By the way, I did find it was advertised on that amendment.
Who?
I found it.
Oh,
I'm gonna tell y'all something that y'all should be doing if you're advertising concessions.
Oh.
Is go to back office real quick. Add a tab or go and.
I'm getting there, I'm getting there. Not that fast. All right.
Advertise. Seller's authorization to disclose certain information. Okay.
That's what you told me.
I know, it's just gonna have you click on it instead of going through all of this. Alright, so if you're advertising concessions in your listing, this form should be accompanied.
Was the advertisement or was the?
It's giving you permission to advertise that you're taking less than asking. This is what we call CYA, cover your assets.
Wait, I'm so confused.
I am too.
Why?
Tasing. He's talking about auxiliary concessions, like if they're offering a certain amount, like 2% instead of 3.
No, like
$5,000 or
$5,000 of paint allowance.
Oh.
So my question would be, why don't they just come down on the price 5,000?
That's great, but I'm telling you that this is, if you're advertising concessions in your remarks,
Okay.
and no one does this.
And showing concessions in your remarks, sort of telling the buyer's agent that you can probably put something down in your commission paragraph and we'll pay you. Okay,
Operating off an assumption, I guess. We already operate off a lot of assumptions, so.
Yeah, we do. I'm talking about me,
I mean, so, everybody does.
like a gate works.
I use this form to put in there also seller authorizers broker to,
Disclose advertisers down here.
yeah. One to pay buyer's broker up to 3% with considerable or with acceptable offer. Because technically you're not supposed to tell other agents that unless we have permission from our sellers to do so. And that helps me say, don't forget, you're always told when I'm most likely to be a buyer's agent.
Hey, in everyone's defense, this is a 2024 form, so it's kind of new.
It was revised.
No, this is permission, you're getting permission
6.4,
from your seller to say
Yeah, I
that.
think that was revised. That's the revision date typically.
What says at the top?
And that helps me go, hey, remember that form you signed that said you're gonna go on the page. Because when we Amazon listen, it just says 3%. And I've had people ask about that, and I'm like, I'm just starting with that. That way it's another, for them to remember.
If you scroll up just a little bit. Not all the way, but a little bit. So it gives you some examples down here. As well, so if you're marketing like as is and stuff like that.
Or motivated.
Motivated seller,
So what's the like,
bring all offers.
what's the repercussion if we don't have this signed? Like your seller can come back to you and say you didn't get permission or you got them a lower offer and didn't have permission to advertise that way? And then we're on the hook for what? Like just not getting the commission, not getting paid?
I mean, it could be lost.
Lawsuit?
It's gonna be treble damages.
Yeah.
So I mean, let's say it's $10,000 concession, it could be 30 grand. Or it could be your commission, and if your commission's 10 grand, then 30, I mean, it could be a lot.
but nobody sees that form but the seller.
This
So
is,
it's kind of just, we had this communication, we had this conversation, put it in writing that we saw this, we had this communication.
this is just CYA, which is my favorite, because there's nothing more fun when somebody calls and starts accusing and you go, do you see this page 2,
Yeah.
paragraph B? Are you explicitly
I
saying
make,
right here?
I also make like when I have phone calls with sellers, I make them text me what they just told me. Like, hey, when we hang up, go ahead and text me what you just said so I can have it on file.
Have y'all seen that thing that you can stick to the back of your phone? And you may even know of another way, where it records.
Your phone
Like,
records now.
And it will like give you the notes from your whole conversation after you had it.
Oh, yeah. Well, so Max is coming out too, and that's something that you'll be able to do. So they already have AI pieces like this now, but like our IT director for the city wears his, and it summarizes conversations. It will tell you who was speaking, like it can organize tasks based off conversations you had throughout the day. Remax is launching one too. It's a wristband. His name is Max, and he's supposed to come out the fourth quarter of this year, which I would highly suggest to where in listing appointments or when you meet with clients, because especially we just get this all the time. Well, you told me that I could sell my house for $360, and then you can have that recording and go, well, actually in the transcript it says I think your house is only going to sell between 330 and 340, but if you would like, we can list it for 360, which is totally different.
Totally different.
So,
I think it's like $180, like a piece of
They're trying to get max down to about $40 to $50 is the goal.
yeah, but he's supposed
You
to
have to
come.
tell people that you're recording them?
Texas is a one-party consent state.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's why I make phone calls and never send texts and emails if it's something I don't want. So one cool thing about being on the city is our attorney tells us all the ways to not get sued. And he tells me two things. One, always call, don't text, email, nothing in writing. Two, when you first pick up the phone, listen for a beep, because phones will have a quick beep if it's a recorded call. So he said, but if you want to really not get sued, have a conversation with somebody in person, or there's no recording devices.
So in person is even better than phone call.
Yeah, because you don't know if they're pre-recording
Yeah.
through another device.
I have a question on, a new build. So I'm working with clients on a new build. How do we get paid our commission? Is it off the base price of the house? Or is it off everything combined? Because by the time they go to,
It depends on the builder. Like Elmwood's base price.
okay.
Most builders are probably base price. But I'm not gonna say that that's standard because technically every builder pays differently. So who is the builder?
William Ryan. Midtown.
I don't know what William, he's kind of new to the area. I don't know what his is. But I would ask them, or it might be in their contract. I don't know if you have it, but it may say that in their contract. But I would say 9 times out of 10, it's just base price because builders make most of their money in upgrades and change orders. And then there's builders out there that don't pay worth a crap. Hillary knows all about that.
Or don't pay it off.
Lenore does like LGI.
Eighth and Main.
Eighth and Main.
Yeah,
It's amazing.
you should definitely, before recommending a builder, call the builder and ask what their pay is.
Don't recommend Ruby either.
But
They don't pay.
A lot of custom builders don't.
They just roll it into the price, but they need to figure out a way to verbalize that, where they're like, oh yeah, we pay, we just roll it in. I mean, that's what Canyon Creek does. That just,
yeah. Well,
They still haven't figured out a way to roll in the lot price.
but well, cool. Thanks everybody. We'll get this published out by all those at home who are not
I was
here.
talking to them crazy about that they've been having